Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cinema Heroes. I'm Justin Speck.
I'm Jay Stu.
And today we're talking about Teen Titans, The Judas Contract. Released in 2017, directed by Sam Liu, written by Ernie Altbacker, starring Stuart Allen, Jake T. Austin, Taissa Farmiga, Sean Mayer, Brandon Suhu, Kerry Walgren, Miguel Ferrer as Deathstroke, Greg Henry as Brother Blood, and Christina Ricci as Terra, which I thought was kind of cool. Christina Ricci doing a DC animated movie.
Yeah, for sure.
This is continuing we kind of have taken a little break because we were doing other franchises, but this is continuing our dive into the New 52 universe. This is the next on the list. And Stu, before we get into initial thoughts, I started watching this movie today, and it flat out says right in the beginning, 5 years ago. And I read that, but then for whatever
completely
reason,
ignored it.
Immediately forgot it. Because I'm watching it, and like Starfire shows up, and they don't know who she is, and I'm going, I thought this was a sequel to Justice League versus Teen Titans. I was like, I'm so confused. And then I was like, oh, wait. And I rewound the movie and I was like, it did say 5 years ago. You're right. So like, I just completely ignored that for some weird reason. But to be honest, I don't remember my initial thoughts. This movie came out 7 years ago, and I know I watched it when I bought it, and I probably felt about it how I felt about it this time around, because I didn't really remember much about it. And so I don't remember. I'm assuming I just thought it was okay. You know, what were your initial thoughts? Do you remember watching it for the first time?
Yeah, I do remember watching it for the first time. I bought it when it came out because this is one of my favorite DC stories. I liked it very much when it came out. I liked it less now.
This time around.
Yeah. I still like it. It's still enjoyable. There are a few things that don't sit right with me. But, you know, it's still decent. I like it. It's
for the most part, I kind of feel like this movie bored me. That's kind of how I felt about it this time around.
I know.
There are not everything about it is bad by any means. I like a lot of the performances. I love that they replaced Thomas Gibson with Miguel Ferrer. They should have just had Miguel Ferrer from the start. The late Miguel Ferrer. He is really, I liked him as Deathstroke quite a bit, actually. Mm-hmm. I thought that was really good. I'd love to read the source material. I've never read the Judas Contract graphic novel, so I don't know. I have nothing, I don't know what they changed or what is the same, but I just didn't really connect with it like I have with some of the other DC animated movies.
Yeah, I read it once. I don't remember details. The major stuff is the same. I think there is one thing that they changed. I guess I won't say removed, but they may as well had removed this character, Jericho. I don't know if you know who that is.
Isn't that one of Deathstroke's? Is that Deathstroke's son, or am I thinking of somebody else? Yeah, that's him.
That's Deathstroke's son. He makes an appearance in this movie. There's no allusion to him being his son or anything. He's only in the movie for like 2 minutes. When Brother Blood is doing that demonstration of his machine. Yeah. And the character that he's using, that's Jericho.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one that bends the crowbar, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was such okay. So real quick, let's talk about that scene. That scene I thought was bizarre because we're seeing this demonstration, and this guy Jericho, I guess, becomes like has super strength. He gets hit with the crowbar, doesn't even faze him. And then I forget what Brother Blood says, but he's like, all right, we're done. And Mayhem is like, you are no longer needed, and shoots him in the head. And I was like, what was the point of all this? I thought it was so bizarre that they just killed him off like that.
I thought so too. I think it was just for shock value, and that's the thing about this movie that doesn't quite sit well with me. It feels like there's just a lot in it just for shock value.
Yeah,
and I liked it at first. I don't quite like that now. Like the whole. I mean, let's just talk about the elephant in the room. The relationship between Deathstroke and Terra is creepy.
Yep.
It's very creepy. And they try to play it. The thing is, I think it's supposed to be creepy.
Right.
But I think for the most part, a good chunk of this movie, I dare I say most of this movie is from Terra's point of view.
Right.
So to her, it's not creepy, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get those flashbacks, which I assume were also 5 years ago, before that, Terra explains that I'm not a kid. She says to Deathstroke, I'm not a kid. And you get those flashbacks, and she is clearly significantly younger.
Right.
But again, I assume that was 5 years before the events of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say Terra is 18. She is a legal adult. That will make her 13 in the flashbacks.
Right.
Deathstroke is very much a grown old man.
Yes.
His beard is gray even 5 years ago.
Right.
That's nasty.
Yes. Yes, I agree. And I don't know pretty much anything about Terra. I meant to look her up before we started recording, and I got caught up doing family duties, and I just didn't have time. Because when she said, I'm not a child, I thought, okay, is this a character that like ages, but like her body doesn't really age? Like I thought maybe she is older, but just looks younger. But then you're right. When you do the flashbacks, which I guess, they don't ever really specify how long ago it was, but it would make sense because I wondered that too about the beginning of the movie, the prologue, I guess you could say. I didn't know what the point of that was either, because this wasn't Starfire's movie, which is what that whole prologue was kind of about, was Robin meeting or Dick Grayson meeting Starfire for the first time. And
that was fan service.
Okay.
It was 100% fan service. We've never really got that version of the team before in any medium other than the comics. Even the original Teen Titans show didn't have that roster.
Gotcha.
And even Young Justice. Fun fact, the voices of some of those characters in that scene are the voice actors from Young Justice.
Oh, that's cool.
Speedy.
Yeah.
Kid Flash. Same voice actors.
Nice. That's kind of cool.
Yes, very cool. Very cool. But it was that whole scene was just fan service, and it was basically to further kind of explain the relationship between Nightwing and Starfire, which doesn't need any explanation.
It didn't need any, yeah.
Not at all.
I thought about that like through, maybe not halfway through the movie, but as the movie was going on, I remember thinking, why did we have that first scene? Like I didn't understand it.
Just fan service.
Yeah. And that makes sense. And I guess that's fine. I can kind of understand the fan service thing, but yeah, so those flashbacks are not specifically told, or we are not specifically told when the flashbacks are, but I think it's a safe assumption to say it was 5 years ago. And she definitely looks a lot younger. So the whole idea that she ages, but her body doesn't really hold water there. So it is very creepy. I assumed Deathstroke was basically like essentially leading her on because he needed to use her, because obviously he has no issues with Brother Blood taking Terra and when he's one Nightwing short after he's kidnapped all the Titans, but he didn't get Nightwing. Yeah. Brother Blood is like, well, I got to take somebody. And so Deathstroke's like, yeah, that's fine. And he takes Terra, and of course Terra's all upset. But then Terra is like right there, and Deathstroke goes up to Starfire and is like, we could have been lovers or something like that. And so I just assumed he just was, completely BSing Terra. But Terra obviously thought absolutely. It was real.
Yeah, absolutely. He was BSing her. It's still creepy.
It is still very creepy. I agree. And it also makes Deathstroke seem even worse of a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That he would be willing to do that. And it's just, yeah, it's gross. And it was bizarre. Like seeing her walk up in that like pink kind of nighty thing.
Nightgown.
Yeah. And like hanging on him and stuff. It's just.
Because it's not established that she is an adult.
Right.
Until well into that scene. So. And
even though
for like 3 minutes, you think that like this is like, whoa, what is going on here?
Teenager. Yeah, exactly. It's not helped. She says in that scene, you know, I'm not a child, but then it doesn't help things that she starts to develop feelings briefly for Garfield, for Beast Boy, who is a teenager. He, you know, also she is a member of the Teen Titans. So it's just all, nothing is really helping the Deathstroke case here.
Yeah, no, it's not. And I know we kind of lingering on about age, but that got the gears turned. I started thinking like, well, how old is everybody?
Right.
So if the flashback was 5 years ago, so let's say Nightwing was probably like 16, 17 when he was Robin. I would assume Beast Boy was maybe like a year or two younger. So at this stage, he's probably 18, 19.
Okay.
Starfire's a bit different. She's an alien. We don't exactly know how old she was when she arrived, but let's just assume she was the same age as Nightwing.
Right. I was gonna say feels age appropriate to be with Nightwing though.
Yeah. Because they're clearly very much adults. They're not 18, 19. They're like 22, 23.
Right.
So yeah, I think the actual teens of the Teen Titans is a mixture of like 13 and like 18, 19.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Jaime, I get the impression that Jaime Blue Beetle is maybe, I would no more than 18 maybe. That's kind of what I'm kind of gathering. And Raven seems younger than that to me.
I think Raven and Damien are the same age, I think.
Okay.
So I think Damien in this movie might be like 13 or 14.
Yeah, and that sounds about right for Raven. That feels right for Raven. Okay.
Yeah. I love the fact that they keep Stuart Allen for all of these movies and allow the character to grow as Stuart Allen grows. Yeah. So by the final appearance, he is like 18 and like you know you can hear it in his voice. Yeah. I like that.
That is pretty cool. I'm glad they did that too. Yeah. And I like that they kept that's one of the things that confused me about the opening scene because I just completely just didn't register the fact that it said 5 years ago. But Sean Mayer was the voice of Robin in that opening scene. And I thought that was kind of cool. I think the thing that threw me off, and I didn't make the connection that was the Dick Grayson Robin at first, was because his outfit is kind of similar to the Damian Wayne Robin outfit. Yeah. And so that just, I actually really like, I went back and rewatched that opening scene, and I actually really liked that Robin costume with the cape kind of goes over the shoulders and stuff. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. I actually hate when they give him the tights with like no legs, like the little
the Burt Ward
look.
Yeah.
The Burt the Burt Ward. Hate it. I absolutely hate it. It is terrible. They need to stop using that design. Retire it for good.
Yeah, I agree. I think it needs to be retired for good as well. I love the updated version that is like Batman the Animated Series, Dick Grayson, Robin. That I love that costume. But yeah, the Burt Ward trunks with like no legs. But I mean, Burt Ward actually kind of wore tights, but like flesh colored tights. But basically like the trunks with just bare legs and the little elf
Peter
shoes.
Pan shoes. Yeah,
it just doesn't.
What you doing, man?
That's actually one of the things that it doesn't really bother me that much, but is one of the things I'd like to ask Zack Snyder about, because in Batman vs Superman, when Affleck looks at the Robin costume, you know, it says "ha ha ha" jokes on you. That costume has shorts.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, that would look so stupid. And so I didn't
agree.
really. I mean, you could say he did it because it's a homage or whatever to the original kind of Robin costume, but it would look dumb in the movie.
I like the fact that whenever we see cosplays of that, they just make it pants because
they're like,
they
I'm
know
not doing the shorts.
I'm not doing shorts.
Yeah, I do too. I like that as well.
What's your favorite Robin costume?
Live action Robin costume?
Just any
of them?
Robin costume. Yeah.
I really like the Batman the Animated Series one. Tim Drake, I think, had a good costume, I believe. I like when they do a black cape with Robin that has the yellow on the underside of it.
I agree.
Yeah. And honestly, maybe this is, I don't know if this is will get me laughed at or not, but I actually love the Chris O'Donnell costume from Batman Forever. You know, I think that costume, I wish that costume had been in Batman and Robin because I thought it was so good. It kind of, bums me out that they put him in the Nightwing costume essentially for Batman and Robin. Not that would have saved the movie by any means, but I just really like that Robin costume. I think it was.
I do too.
Yeah.
Both that Robin costume and the Batman costume before the upgraded suit, the one at the beginning of for most
underrated,
of the movie, severely, criminally underrated. Yes, I know that the suit has nipples,
right?
Despite the nipples, despite the nipples, those suits are fantastic.
I agree with you absolutely. What's your favorite Robin costume?
I would probably have to say, it's tough. Tim Drake, which is basically just like the Batman animated series costume, or the Dick Grayson Robin suit from Young Justice, which has the black cape with the yellow yellow underside, but it's mostly black and red with yellow accent, and there's a little bit of green accent in there. But I love that look.
I'll have to look that up. Let me see real quick.
If I ever made if I could make that costume was dope.
Yeah, that is cool.
If I could make a Robin costume, I would use like the green would be like army fatigue, and it would it would be accents. So kind of like you know how the yellow was in Wolverine's costume in Days of Future Past. Like it was just like a hint of it.
Yeah.
That's how I would do it.
Okay. That'd be cool. Cool.
Yeah, I think that would be fire.
So with this movie, how do you feel about the villain? How do you feel about Brother Blood?
I don't really care for him.
That's how I feel. I feel like he's, in my opinion, I was more interested whenever Deathstroke was on screen. And I didn't really care about what Brother Blood was doing. And Brother Blood had hired Deathstroke, but he was very generic to me. Just somebody who was supposedly immortal and was wanting more power and just didn't do like anything for me, really.
Yeah, he's basically like the great value version of Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah. The great value version. That's a good way of putting it.
He is far better in the original Teen Titans animated series.
Okay.
Yeah, that version of Brother Blood. Did you watch that? I know.
No,
I know it was past your time.
Animated stuff to watch.
Yeah, I know that was past your time, but I think you would very much enjoy that show. It is very good.
Okay.
But yeah, that version of Brother Blood is dope. And like in that show, like him and Cyborg like have a rivalry, which is pretty good.
That is cool.
Yeah. But yeah, this version very generic and cookie cutter. But I agree. He Deathstroke was, whenever he was on screen, I was very much interested. I love Miguel Ferrer as Deathstroke. A wonderful upgrade from Thomas Gibson. Like Thomas Gibson, his voice made me want to punch him.
Right. Yes, indeed.
Miguel Ferrer is very like he got that raspy, like kind of subdued, I don't really want to be bothered type voice.
Right.
But it was very, very reminiscent of Ron Perlman. Because Ron Perlman, see, you don't know because you didn't watch the show.
I know, yeah.
Ron Perlman's Deathstroke in the original Teen Titans is perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah. I need to watch it, clearly.
So he did do the voice in Flashpoint Paradox. Ron Perlman did the voice in Flashpoint Paradox. But that he did it different in Flashpoint Paradox. He basically used his regular voice in Flashpoint Paradox, but in Teen Titans, he made a Deathstroke voice, and it is so evil. It is so good, though. Oh, it's so good.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, not having seen Teen Titans and hearing the excellent Ron Perlman, his version, I really like this version of Deathstroke with Miguel Ferrer. Mm-hmm. Miguel Ferrer had such a unique voice, and
absolutely,
it works very well for Slade Wilson. And yeah, his performance and just the dynamic between, especially since there's the history between, Robin, especially in Deathstroke. In the final act of the movie, when there's the big fight scene between the Titans and Brother Blood, and then it's like Robin and Nightwing versus Deathstroke, I just kept wanting the movie to go back to Deathstroke and Robin and Nightwing. I didn't really care about the fight with Brother Blood and the other Titans. I just wanted to see the Deathstroke fight.
Yeah, I agree, because in the comics, it's Dick Grayson's Robin and Deathstroke that have the rivalry,
right?
And they kind of allude to that in this movie, but it like really in this universe, it's Damian and Deathstroke, that have the rivalry, which I'm fine with. I think it makes complete sense for the universe, especially seeing that Deathstroke was supposed to be or wanted to be the successor to the League of Assassins in this universe, so it makes complete sense. But yes, those scenes where the three of them were fighting and just having the writers pay homage to the source material, and again a little bit of fan service with with Nightwing being included. I think that was really good.
Speaking of Nightwing, he's probably my second favorite character in the film. Sean Mayer as Nightwing is really good. We've talked about that before in a previous episode. And he's really good in this. And I do like his and Corey's relationship. The whole idea of them moving in together is, was kind of fun to watch. And one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when he goes to get Blue Beetle. So he goes to the soup kitchen that he's been volunteering at, and he sees that he's not there, and he kind of pieces together what happened, that there was this electrical device on the chair and he got zapped and then taken away. And he was like, Nightwing was able to detective kind of work it out. And then he leaves that and he's like, I'm going to get Garfield. And he goes to where Garfield was. And he sees that there was a chair in front of a microphone with a button in front of it that said, do not push. And of course, Garfield is like, push. And he gets hit with like darts. And he just goes, come on, Garfield. I just thought that was great.
Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
Nightwing and Starfire or Nightwing and Batgirl?
That's a good question. I kind of like the Nightwing Starfire relationship, even though it's, Starfire is this orange alien, but it just kind of works for me, I guess. But are you more of Nightwing Batgirl?
I used to be.
Yeah.
I used to be, because I know in the Bruce Timm universe, it's Nightwing and Batgirl.
Sure. And that kind of makes sense, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah. But almost everywhere else, with the exception of Young Justice, it's Nightwing and Corey.
It
because it was like that in Teen Titans, obviously. But even back then, I was always like, Nightwing should be with Barbara. Like they're more they're from the same type of world, but like the more I see Nightwing and Corey, I was like, this makes sense. I like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. It's not something that I've really ever thought about, but like,
yeah,
they work well together, I think, and it doesn't kind of weirdly make sense, I think. So
now what I do still find a little weird is Barbara and Tim in the Arkham games. It's a little strange to me.
That is
just a little bit,
yeah.
Because in my head, Barbara is older than Tim.
Yeah. Yeah, in my brain.
But I guess in the game they're the same age, so
I guess they made it work. I guess, but
yeah.
I don't see that either. Barbara and Tim. So Christina Ricci is Terra. We've talked a little bit about Terra and the creepiness with Deathstroke, but overall, her performance. How did you feel about Terra's performance?
I like Terra's performance, or Christina
Ricci's performance.
Christina Ricci's performance as Terra.
Yeah.
I thought she was a great choice. I like Terra as a character, just overall, not just in this movie, but just as a character. In the comics, when she turned, she just straight up turned, and I don't think she was redeemed.
Oh, okay.
But
whenever do you like that better than the movie version, where she redeems herself?
I don't. I like redemptive Terra, more than evil Terra.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
She even in the original Teen Titans, because they did this story arc like over a whole season in Teen Titans, and even that was like a redemptive type Terra arc, which I think that is significantly better than this movie.
Yeah, right. Well, they had longer. Yeah, they had a longer time to tell the story too, but. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would be interested to watch that because I'd be curious to see how they handled it. I like Christina Ricci in the movie. I think she does a great job as Terra. There's a couple times where she like really kind of screams and the emotion really comes through and stuff. I think she does a really good job. I didn't really care about Terra all that much. I thought it was when you find out that she's been working with Deathstroke, I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting. And then when she gets betrayed by Deathstroke, I like that she gets redeemed, but it's also kind of predictable. You know what I mean? Like especially since they kind of set up the small little bit of relationship she had with Beast Boy. I remember when that whole scene happens, Deathstroke gets into her ear and he's like, I almost bought that or whatever. And she's kind of caught off guard a little bit. Mm-hmm. So you kind of know that she's going to redeem herself. However, I had forgotten about, because I've seen this movie before, but only once. I wasn't expecting her to essentially sacrifice herself. That was a cool kind of last shot of her kneeling and all the rocks are tumbling in around her. She had let she had gotten away for the Titans to get out and then crushed herself in the rocks. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then Beast Boy does find her, but she dies in her arms. At least that's how it seemed to me in the movie, that she was dead. So. Yeah.
Now that you're talking, I'm second guessing. Does she redeem herself? I don't think so. I think she's just straight up evil
kind of a villain. Turns. Yeah, which is could be the case. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's been years. It's been well over 10 years since I read that story.
Right. I'm sure somebody will let us know if we're wrong. But yeah, I like the movie. I like the movie version. I like the redemption. I like that because the Titans accepted Terra as one of their own, and she's a little bit of a jerk to him even before you find out that she's working with Deathstroke. Like when she has the nightmare and Robin is like, she's going to bring the whole house down on us. And Raven tries to help her. She's immediately like, what are you doing? Get off of me. Get out of my room. But they really try to welcome her. And then I think by the end of the movie, she realizes that she needs to do the right thing and save them. So
yeah, Terra has a lot of like unhealed trauma.
Yeah.
Which is why she treats people the way she does, which I like. I just, when it's not, when the movie's not dealing with brother blood, it's a good movie.
Right.
But the brother blood stuff just kind of takes you out of it.
Yeah. How did you feel about when Deathstroke was fighting Nightwing it wasn't really Nightwing, it was Dick Grayson, really. and they're like on the pier, and then he ends up shooting Dick in the chest. You knew that he wasn't gonna actually kill Dick Grayson, but when he comes out of the water and unzips his coat, and it's that piece of wood. I was like, that was a weird choice. It would have been completely believable to me if he had just unzipped his jacket and he'd been wearing like Kevlar
bulletproof vest.
Yeah, because that would be a Nightwing thing to do. That would, always be prepared kind of thing.
Yeah.
Especially if you know that Deathstroke is out there, which I don't know if he knew that for sure yet, but it just seems like something that he would do. Like, just don't leave home without your bulletproof vest, basically, And in these types of movies like Batman, he's developed this technology where he has like thin Kevlar that he can wear underneath his civilian clothes.
Right.
So I would have bought that more than this block of wood stopping a bullet from going into.
Yeah, I feel the same way. When I saw that, I was like, I don't know if that's scientifically
right.
Accurate.
Accurate.
I don't think that would actually work.
Right. I feel like it'd have to be a pretty thick piece of wood, and it was not. So
no.
Don't think that would have stopped the bullet. So
that was don't try that at home, kids.
Right, exactly. Yeah, don't try that at home. Beast Boy's got some cool scenes in this. I like when there's like a training scene between him and Terra, where he's just changing from animal to animal. He wraps her up like a snake and everything. I thought he got to show off a lot of cool powers in this movie.
Beast Boy is one of my favorite characters in the DC universe. He is my third favorite Titan after Dick Grayson and Cyborg.
Nice. I'm wearing my Beast Boy shirt.
Nice. I hadn't even realized that. That's dope. But yeah, Beast Boy always has really good scenes in whatever he's in, whether it's this, the original Teen Titans, Young Justice. Like I love his scenes. Beast Boy is such a great character. Now I will say this, what I've seen in the Titan show, they underutilize Beast Boy tremendously, but I understand it's CG. You got a TV budget. You can only do so much.
Right.
With that being the case, I would rather him just not be in there.
That's how I feel. They do severely underutilize him. And whenever he does change into an animal, it's just the tiger. It's like on that show, it's almost like that's the only animal he could turn into for some weird reason. And I don't know. I still haven't finished the second half of the final season. So I don't know if there's something that happens that like unlocks something in him that makes him realize he can do other animals or something. But but I feel like pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, the only animal you see him turn into on that show is a tiger.
I'm saying, like, okay, if CGI is the issue, why not change him into a bird or a snake, or
instead of something with a whole lot of fur that I'm sure is really difficult to animate? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, it's kind of annoying because they don't want to maybe spend the money to CGI his animal powers. He just doesn't get a lot to do. So, or at least not in the first 3 seasons anyway. So I almost kind of agree with you. I almost wish they had just not used him and gotten Kid Flash or Speedy or something, like, I don't know, but he is a staple of the Teen Titans. So I understand why they did go with it, but they should have thought of it. They should have thought it through, I guess.
Yeah, I would have loved if they used Speedy. If they had
that'd
Roy
be cool.
Harper.
Right.
Oh my God, that would have. Oh man, I just, he's also one of my favorite characters in the DC universe, especially when he becomes Arsenal. He is just I've talked about this comic here on the podcast before. The Outsiders.
Yeah.
I love the dynamic between him and Nightwing. They're always like butting heads, and it's fun to watch. So I would love for that to happen in live action. Speaking of live action, they just announced a live action Teen Titans movie that's in development right now.
Oh wow,
at DC Studios.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I missed that announcement. That's really cool.
Yes. I am fairly confident that it's going to be the same roster that's in this movie, but probably minus Terra, obviously. But
right,
I have a feeling that it's going to be Nightwing, Blue Beetle, and Damian at the very least.
Yeah, because they've already announced that they're keeping the actor who played Blue Beetle in the movie, in the live action movie, and they've already announced Batman the Brave and the Bold, which is going to be the Damian Wayne Robin. So that makes sense that they would have those characters. And then you just got to get Robin or Raven, Starfire. And I don't know if they'll include Nightwing or not. And then Beast Boy.
It would be a mistake to not include Nightwing.
Yeah, I agree.
He's the cornerstone of the Titans.
Right.
There's no Titans without him.
Yes, that's true.
That's like having the Justice League with no Batman. Like, who's gonna pay for all that stuff?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Even though Batman is like a part-time member in the Bruce Timm universe, like you gotta have him. You can't not have him there.
Right. Well, that's cool. I'm looking forward to that movie. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about Brother Blood when he does absorb some of the Titans' power? Yeah, exactly. No, doesn't look good. Looks stupid. Hate it.
Nope.
Thought it was dumb. I don't know if that's comic accurate. I don't know if that's how he kind of looked in the comics, but it didn't work in this movie at all for me.
Yeah. And that's all I have to say about that.
And that's all I have to say about that. I don't really have much else to say. The music in the movie, I don't really remember. There was a couple scenes where I thought the music was okay, but nothing really stood out to me. Yeah, this movie just, aside from the few things we talked about that we liked, this movie didn't do much for me. So we can go into ratings if you'd like, and unless there's anything else you'd like to talk about.
No, we can go into ratings.
For me, this is, I don't hate it. I was bored by some of it, not all of it, but it's only an hour and 24 minutes. There's worse ways you could spend an hour and a half, but I think it's very middle of the road for me. So I'm going 2.5 stars. 2.5. I don't know. Beast Boy.
Yeah.
Beast Boys. I don't know.
I'm going to go a little higher than you. I'm going to go 3 rocks out of 5.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so before we started recording, Stu told me that he had figured me out and could pretty much predict, what did you say, whether or not I would like a movie and whether or not I would like it more or less than you.
Or less than, yes.
And you were correct, I believe, in on this one. Yes?
Yes, I was.
I indeed liked it less than you. So very good. I guess we'll have to see if you're correct on the next movie we do. So, yeah. We'd love to know what you think about Teen Titans, The Judas Contract. You can always let us know at cinemaheroes.com. You can also leave us a comment at our Instagram or tweet at us. Both handles are at cinemaheroes. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment down below what you think about the movie. Give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I think that about wraps it up for this episode, though. I'm Justin Speck.
I'm Jay Stu.
As always, thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing.